Viewers beware, consider this your spoiler warning. If you clicked on the video, then you know exactly what you're doing, so you need to hold yourself accountable. Please don't go around spoiling this for other people who do not want to see this content. Thank you so much for cooperating, and I hope you enjoy the video. What is up, everybody? It's the Inhuman one here, and today I want to talk to you guys about a Templar leak that occurred earlier during one of GGG's forum discussions regarding the manner in which portals are going to be working from now on. Now, I will say that it took me less than 30 seconds to debunk this, and it's just simply probably just seeking engagement or whatever. But as we are all content creators hustling for views, I decided to make a video that actually not only revealed what the Templar truly looks like, but also explaining the confusion around where this could have come from. So one thing that I want to mention is that during the actual forum discussion, there was a screenshot, and I'll go over the screenshot in just a moment, but the screenshot that caused the confusion was actually this one right here on screen. And as you can see, we have what seems to be like the sorceress, and then we have a secondary banner that says Dawn of the Hunt. Well, right next to the sorceress, there was a shoulder, or like a piece of a body that we had not yet recognized, or at least the person that was saying this, which all in all was actually pretty silly, because the reason why this happened and the reason for the confusion is because the characters were simply shuffled around. As you can tell, right here we have the sorceress right here, and to the right of her is normally the warrior. And but you can tell if you look back at the image that I just put away that the character order has been shuffled quite a bit. So as to the far left and starting off, you actually have the ranger. And so that's why the confusion came to be. If you look a little bit closer, of course, you can see that there's some torn clothing on the right shoulder and the upper right thigh of what appears to be a woman character, and that of course would belong to the witch. So all that happened is that during this particular image that they created and generated to show the different banners, the banner for the existing league and the banner to reset and start in the new league in the Dawn of the Hunt, the character order was swapped around, probably just because they added an additional character, and for the sake of maybe their little alpha, their little sandbox or whatever, the character order is swapped. So normally you would have the sorceress right next to the warrior, but instead you have the ranger to the far left. You have the ranger a little bit to the far left. You then have the sorceress over here, and right next to the sorceress is of course the witch. So the witch is the one with the twin clothing and whatnot. So long story short, that was just a very simple way to debunk that the Templar was not leaked by any means, but I do actually have images of what the Templar looks like, and I've had them for a little over a month now, probably more than that, as I was searching for just kind of ways to enhance my thumbnails and my for the live streams that I was doing. I was trying to find official artwork, and it was very difficult to come by. More than anything, you could usually find some images of the ascendancies and whatever else, but typically those weren't very good. And then of course the gameplay images are really tough to come by, especially on console, because you can't zoom in or anything, right? So as a console player, we don't have the ability to actually zoom in on our characters, and so hopefully that's a functionality that is added a little bit later, but currently we don't have it. Long story short, I was searching for, art for thumbnails that was official artwork, of course, and I stumbled across something that was really interesting. Now, I will not be sharing a link unless the actual artist comes and reaches out to me and lets me know, because I don't know if this would get them in trouble. I don't want them to get in trouble. I think they did an excellent job, and I don't want this to be something that has consequences of any sort. But I do have the information if they request it from me. But long story short, if we take a look, this here is going to be 7 images of what I believe to be the Templar. The Templar, of course, will be the character that kind of has, maybe some light radiance effects, uses the flail, and a number of other things. So really looking forward to it. But let's take a look and see. So the first image we have here is it's obviously a model, 3D model of the character. We can see that he has red hair. He's got almost it's very reminiscent, in my opinion, kind of like a toga type thing. But he's got this belt and whatever else. Interestingly enough, I thought he'd be in much better shape. I thought that he would have, gear that was of just better quality or whatever, because he was a Templar. But it's very likely that because he's going to be here in the gallows, It's very likely that he was probably banished or exiled from the order, and now he's maybe trying to like regain that grace. And you can see that as evidenced by he's still wearing, you know, the amulet that probably represents his affiliation with the god that he worships, or that the Templar Order worships. We have two more pictures of this, and this actually just kind of continues on the same path where it's just different lighting. And this, again, kind of leads even more, leads me to believe even more strongly that this is actually legitimate, because the rest of the artwork that this artist did have models of the additional characters, including the witch, including the ranger, and the monk, all of which were identical and exact to what is you know, in game. So here we have just different lighting, and then finally the third has the poorest lighting, so what he would look like in darkest lighting. And then we have some more images of him, kind of like a walking kind of animation, plus kind of like a fighting animation as well. As stated before, we know that he is going to be using, or the Templar will be using, the flails, some of which were actually introduced in the game, and some people found kind of just by chance. The drop chance did exist, even though it was very small. And the weapons, although they can't necessarily be used, they could be equipped, and they had animations. So you know, they would dangle and, you know, whatever, move around with gravity, and they had physics to them. So that was pretty interesting. We know that the flail is going to be kind of the move set associated with the Templar. Also, you know how we've always talked about, I've always joked personally on my streams about radiance, you know, like the light radiance, how I'm like, that is the most ridiculous stat, and it's like a dead stat for me. I do believe the Templar will actually make some use of it. So as we go to the next image, we have just more stances, kind of the same fighting stance, plus, you know, just another stance where he's just kind of showing some of his, you know, the details of the underneath his arm or whatever else. So again, really neat looking. I did not realize or even think that. I was like, we don't have a redhead here, so it's nice to have that variety as well. I think that it's nice and diverse as it is. Now we've got a redhead. We're winning. We're doing good things. I like it. I like that each of the characters are very unique in the way that they look, their genders and whatever else. It's just nice. It's nice to see that representation all across the board. They don't all look like one type of person or anything, so it's cool. And then we also have just another one here. He's like, look, man, I'll tell you what. He's doing the dad look thing, but it looks like, I don't know if that's another walking type animation. And then, of course, him getting pissed off at somebody, probably telling them, hey, buddy. In either case, it is pretty interesting to see that there are several animations with this model. I did, again, find other models that are actually present in-game, so this seemed quite official to me, and I do believe this is what the Templar will be looking like. So this is, I believe, the final image, just an image of what he would look like doing the same animation, but this time from the behind, and then also kind of just standing, leaning forward kind of aggressively. Really neat. I think that this character is going to be lots of fun. Looks great. Not what I expected. I was expecting definitely a bearded character, but maybe one that looked a little bit more clean. I was forgetting that, you know, these characters are, of course, exiles, right? They've been exiled, they've been banished, and they are kind of like the outcasts of their particular factions, whatever those may be. So I didn't think, like, you know what, he is going to be a little rough and dirty, so I like it. But anyways, that, of course, kind of brings this little slideshow to an end. What we're going to do is end off with just by opening up any particular character that I have, and we're going to look at the passive tree. The passive tree is going to show us kind of what kind of character is it going to be in terms of, like, what is his abilities, or what are his abilities going to be, what are his affinities, and things of that nature. So if we jump into the passive tree really quickly, I already forgot how to play the game. We can find the flails, right? Which flails are going to be right over here. So we know that, you know, we'll have something like a Morning Star and whatever else. So we know that they use flails. That's going to be, of course, a melee weapon. And it looks like there's going to be a lot of crit hit for flails, which is pretty interesting. I'm looking to see what kind of potential we have for either a shield in the offhand, or are we going to be elemental, or what do we have here, you know? So again, more crit damage. I believe it's probably going to be fire and flails, which makes lots of sense if you think about it, because it's kind of like cleansing, right? Fire cleanses, so we're cleansing the evil. Very likely that we'll have a flail in one hand and a shield in the offhand. That seems to make a lot of sense. And if you think about kind of where this is coming from, it's going to be just off the side of the warrior class, which of course starts off right here. So warrior goes here, or we could probably have the Templar fit right around here. So it's very likely they're going to have some affinities to magic, as well as, of course, the shield and melee damage. But it doesn't seem like, you know, they're going to have tons of elemental, and if they do, it's likely going to be, yeah, it's likely going to be fire. So that's very interesting. We can take a look at some of these. So here we have the ignite and critical chance, recoup life, things of that nature. What is this right here? Okay, excess life recovery from regenerations applied to energy shield. Okay. So yeah, movement speed, attack speed, really high kind of emphasis on just melee damage. I'm interested to see if they're going to incorporate some sort of elemental. But here we have ice, and it's probably going to have, yeah, spell or lightning damage around here. So there's cold, there's the elemental. Yeah, so we're getting all the elemental damage here. It's very likely that we'll get it around this area. So very interesting. But just to kind of know, we already have room for what we would consider the Templar's primary weapon to be, which of course is going to be the flail. So very interesting. Trying to see what this is. More minions, so we could have a minion type build as well. But who knows? There's quite a bit to be discovered still in terms of that. But we could very well have a minion type build with flails, offhand shield, or if not, you know, it could be something that's just primarily, you know, melee damage, maybe some spell damage as well. But interesting nonetheless. But I did want to kind of cover that and look at that with you guys. Super excited about what's to come, and honestly, I am really looking forward to seeing if this is actually the true Templar that we'll be seeing in game. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had an absolute blast kind of showing that with you. I do want to state this. I have mentioned that there are spoilers all throughout the description and whatever else. I just want you to know that if you clicked on the video, then that means you don't mind about the spoilers, you were interested. If you do mind about the spoilers and you clicked on it, then you're a hypocrite. This is the Templar. I do believe this is what we'll be seeing in game as well. And honestly, if the artist comes out, reaches out, I will be more than happy to provide the link. I just don't want people to go and find it and then like be, look, this guy leaked this information, because I think it's great work. So, and all the other characters and some of the other models and NPCs and things like that can be found all across the internet. So if you like videos like this, let me know in the comments. I'm really looking forward to seeing if the Templar is going to be the next character that we play as in 3.0. But anyways, thank you all so much for being the best part of my channel. And until next time, it's the Inhuman one signing out.